Well, this video, this game, it's something to do with an opening that being provided to you guys not long ago, right? And it's just to show you that sometimes when you look over different openings, this maybe some tactics can happen, or maybe even positional ideas that you could do to surprise your opponent. So I played this 1-0. Again, it's still very fast, but sometimes when you're dealing with fast time control, sometimes there are major ideas you could apply in less time. So I'm here proposing an idea or something that you could do in your games that could be helpful. Bishop g5. Does this look familiar? If you didn't see this before, you haven't seen my videos, I would recommend you to check my other videos to see what is this all about. What does it really do? What's the point of this move? What kind of opening is this? I've never seen that before. So, make sure to tune in and check it out which lines, because I did recommend like this move for different reasons and why I played it, what's the story behind it. So make sure to tune in for this video, and there's also two videos relates to that. So d6 was played. Now this is one of the ways you could do, you could play like this. There are different lines, right? We talked about the different lines, but I usually do this, especially now when it comes to bullet. The easier to make the move, the faster you make the move, it's always good. So my argument here is double pawns, and you could take different ways. My opponent take this way, which is okay. So this move is kind of interesting. So the reason I play e3 though, because I know that once he takes this way, he's looking for g6, bishop g7. And my idea is, okay, you could do this idea, play knight e2. And the point of knight e2 instead of knight f3 is you going to knight f4. And I try to do a quick attack, to try to surprise my opponent. And it's always good when it comes to bullet chess, right, specifically. So he plays bishop g7, and I played knight f4. The knight is active here as opposed to f3, so if you could easily advance your knight to f4 in a advanced square, you could see that it has more targets than opposed to like here, knight e5, knight g5, knight h4. So knight at f4 is a better in this situation than knight f3. So he castles, and then here we go, h4. So the point is we are looking at an attack, and sometimes people, when they play bullet, they are not really sure what to do. There's potential ideas here, maybe even f5, but he plays d5, and then we have c4. And the point of c4 is just simply, I would like him to take, and he did take, which I don't think this is the best idea. Simply by taking here, the bishop is very dominant in this diagonal. We talk about bishop diagonals, and this is actually one strong one. And having this being pinned is really key to this line. And having this, this knight on f4 is pretty, now it's going to make sense why the knight is sitting on f4 the next move or two. So if you want to check something similar to this one of my videos on YouTube is me and Eric Henson, Grandmaster Eric Henson. I was able to beat him in this line specifically, especially with the bishop on g7. It looks very similar to that one. He may played like a g6 line, instead of like my opponent played d6. But it's a similar fashion, and I was able to win the game fast enough in just a couple of moves. So you want to make sure you tune to that video as well. So this one, after bishop here, he played c5. I was like, okay, I'm calling you bluff. C5 doesn't seem, he's playing towards the center. I feel like this is not really, he wants me to do this, or d5. So d5, he's basically saying, well, you're going to block your access to the diagonal. If you take, maybe I could take with the queen, and then maybe some kind of f5, the bishop gets active on this diagonal. So I'm like, not today and not tomorrow. We're going to go for an attack. You could play c5 all day long, and he just simply took. Now, could you pause the video? Could you find an idea here that, that seems to make sense in this situation? If you pause the video, you found the idea, that's pretty good. If you haven't, again, I always tell people you have to hit hard puzzle rush, if you don't find it today, you find it next day. That's okay. When you're dealing with puzzles or dealing with actually, any kind of puzzles or tactics in general, you want to scan the board. Meaning that you look over the board. Because this happens on the center, you're just not really looking at the center. You always have to look the entire board. Meaning that you want to look on the queen side, like where I'm putting my arrows, or the red circles here, or or on the center, and also on this side of the board. So you're looking at the king side, the center, and the queen side. You just don't want to look at one dimensional, like one side, right? You always want to look all across when you're dealing with tactics, because maybe the tactic is happening, maybe in the corner. Maybe it's right on the corner or something. So you may allow yourself to, just not because the opponent took on d4, so the tactic has to be around d4 or somewhere in the center. It could be on the king side. As a matter of fact, should you pause the video, you found it, that's good. If not, again, tactics, puzzles will be your solution for that. The idea is very simple. It's actually take on g6. And then you could see everything makes sense now because, he cannot take back because the major pin, and if he were to take back here, he could have took back on g6. But if he takes on g6, his knight takes because he cannot take back. And this looks very, very dangerous. As a matter of fact, it's winning. This kind of setup here is huge for white. As a matter of fact, there's no way you could save this game after this kind of the knight jump on g6. So he played a different move. We went back from start. All right, here he went with this one, and then he's basically saying, "Well, I just take. I'm committed to play c5, take, and pause the video. And if you could find the tactic, that's good because I did not find it. Are you better than me? Go ahead, find it." If I have this tactic like 50 times, I'll probably find it in 49 times. It's something that I've seen and I have done. But here's the thing. It's okay to miss it in 1-0, even in 3-0, but most of the time you're going to find it should you have more time. This doesn't require more time or anything. It's just sometimes I was going for a specific idea and not the other one. So here's my take. If you have multiple ways of winning a game, it's okay to do like second best move or even the third best move, as long as it's winning. Now, you do need to have precision in general, because, you may only have one way of winning. Most of the games may just comes down to one way of winning. So you do have to find only one way to win. And, second best means it's a draw. It doesn't mean it's a win, right? So you do have to have precision, but when it comes to 1-0, and if you have multiple ways of winning, like two ways of winning, if you pick the second one instead of the first one, as long as you won the game, it's okay. So here, I did not play the best move, which is very strange because I know this line. But if you pause the video, you found it. I mean, let's pause the video now. You found the best move. That's great. If you haven't, that's okay. You belong to the stellar team. And because I did not find it, I did not even find it myself. But I'm able to find it. I could have found it if I, did not concentrate on the other move, because the other move really. So here's the thing: the other move that I did here, it's equivalent to different line that requires you to play this specific move. And so I'm mixing the two lines together, and I played whatever the other line would say. But here you just don't go by the line; you just go by the tactic. So here I played Queen H5, which is actually winning. I mean, this is actually winning, completely winning. If we open up the computer here, it's +4, and there's no way you could save that, right? So this is totally winning. But there are much better move, and the best move by far is bishop takes. And the idea here is just mating. It's not just like. It's not +4, it's mate. Because here, if he goes here, is rook takes h7, that's checkmate. So that leaves him with one solution here, meaning that here he just have to take. But you would assume that takes, he's just simply losing a queen, right? The queen is hanging. And even taking the queen is not the best idea, right? I mean, taking a queen is good enough. The best idea is pawn takes. Right? But the idea is simply if you go here, knight g6 would be checkmate. So here, the point of pawn takes is you're just left with one square, and it's actually this square as you're looking at. But then when you take the queen, it's checkmate. So this is actually what I mean. You have to have some precision. If this is the only way to win a game, you just have to find that one way, right? And the point, if you play, instead of taking here, If you went this route, this is still winning though. What makes this not winning, but it's not mate, right? So that's the difference between both moves. So the precise move is here, knight g6, and then no, not knight g6. You just play here knight g6 if it's only if you go to the corner. So that's very nice, mate. It's a nice tactic. If you found it, that's very nice. If you haven't, you could go with queen h5, right? So what happened here, if we, I'm assuming it's going to go from the beginning. No, it did not. So I played queen h5, and my opponent played this move. You could see that I'm just ignoring all these pawn moves all the way when the pawn was on c5. I'm just letting it all the way here. This move doesn't do anything at all, and this actually it could come in. The reason queen h5, it could come in different lines where you allow this kind of stuff, and where queen h5 is probably the recommended move. So this move, you don't deal with this move a lot. You just move all the way here. You don't want to move here because that may allow some, maybe even some check on e7 or rook e8. And then says Mayor, he could play here and queen b6. He may be able to defend. So you just play king f1. And the point of king f1 is very simplistic idea. He cannot do this. This queen takes, right? He cannot check. There's no check. And if king takes, this will allow at least a check on b6. He may be able to defend, but his king f1 is by far the best move because he cannot check anywhere. The only check that he could do is here. D3 is being covered by the bishop and the bishop and the knight, excuse me. So he plays h6, but this doesn't save anything at all, right? That doesn't do anything at all for him because simply the next move is just pawn takes, and obviously here it's just queen takes, and everything is just good, or just simply too much. He just felt like here he could save the game. But he does not. If you could pause the video, do you see anything good here? Now it's time to find the best move, right? This is the time where you have to find the really best move to win the game. Because here is a nice tactic, and it usually pops in here, pops in this line and some other lines into Trampowski. So if you found the move here, very nice. You might find one move, but you did not see the follow-up, meaning that you could play one move, did not see the follow. But here you do need to keep looking for forcing sequence. You're just looking for forcing ideas. When we say force, meaning that you're not really letting your opponent off the hook. He's just looking at one idea, forcing him to react, and then you just continue attacking, right, as much as possible. So if you found it, that's great. If you haven't, again, you just have to do more puzzles. So it's check, and he just have to go back here. You can see the pawn is acting as a way that he cannot really move anywhere. And then it's all about forcing. Rook takes, and that's just simply, he cannot move the king, and that would be like, he has to take back and the queen, and that would be checkmate, because simply that's covering all the key squares that he could, the king cannot just simply move at all. So that was a nice tactic. This line could pops in at any given time, and usually becomes difficult to defend. You can see the pawn is sitting on f2. I have never got to develop my knight on b1. So that was a neat tactic. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. It ties into the opening that I've been, recommended for people to play. Again, this opening, for once more, is not meant to be like a replacement for like major openings, but it's still something you could play as a secondary or the third option to play this opening. Because you could see surprises could happen in these lines, different lines, and you could win games like that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and stay tuned for more videos. Make sure to subscribe to watch other videos. It just means a lot. It should help. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one, just like the rest of the videos, and Happy New Year. We are marching into the New Year's, folks. Hopefully new year with new opportunities and new goals, right? All right, see you by the next video.